I got the call at 2 in the morning, the kind that makes your heart stop before you even pick up. My brother Kyle's name flashed on the screen, and for a split second I thought something terrible had happened. But when I answered, his voice was steady. Too steady. "We need to talk about Dad's money," he said. I sat up in bed, confused. Our father had passed 2 years ago. The will was settled. Everything was done. I had inherited the small house in the suburbs of Portland worth about $250,000 because I had spent the last year of Dad's life taking care of him. Kyle got $50,000 in cash and some other assets. It seemed fair. Dad wanted to thank me for the sacrifice. But Kyle's voice on the phone that night was different. Cold. "It is not fair," he said. "You need to fix this." I had no idea that phone call was the beginning of a nightmare I never saw coming. Before we go any further, I would love to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you want to see how this story unfolds, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because what my brother and his fiancée did next, you would not believe it. Trust me, you will want to hear every single detail. Let me back up and give you the full picture. My dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer 3 years ago. The doctors gave him 6 months. He lasted a year and a half, but that last year was brutal. I was 26 at the time, working as an accountant at a mid-sized firm in downtown Portland. Kyle was 31, living in San Francisco with a great job in tech sales. He was engaged to Jenna, a woman he had met 2 years earlier. She was an event planner, ambitious, always talking about the next big thing they were going to do together. When Dad got really sick, someone had to step up. Kyle visited 3 times that entire year. 3 times. He would fly in for a weekend, sit by Dad's bed for a few hours, then fly back to his busy life. I do not blame him entirely. He had his career, his relationship. But I made a different choice. I quit my job. I moved back into the house where I grew up. I became Dad's full-time caregiver. I learned how to manage his medications, how to help him to the bathroom in the middle of the night, how to hold his hand when the pain got too bad for words. Dad's lawyer came to the house about 4 months before he died. He wanted to update the will. I was not in the room when they talked, but afterward Dad called me in. He looked so small in that bed. He told me he was leaving me the house. He said I had given up so much and he wanted to make sure I had something solid to build my life on. He said Kyle would get the cash and some investments. It was not about playing favorites. It was about gratitude. When Dad passed, Kyle flew in for the funeral. We sat in the lawyer's office a week later and Mr. Patterson read the will. Kyle nodded when he heard the terms. He even hugged me after. "You deserved it, man," he said. "I really appreciated that. I thought we were good." The house became my home. I got a new job at a local firm, started putting down roots again. I repainted the living room. I fixed the leaky faucet in the kitchen. I planted flowers in the front yard, the same kind Mom used to grow before she and Dad divorced when I was 12. Life felt like it was finally moving forward. Then came that phone call. Kyle told me he and Jenna were planning their wedding. They wanted to get married at a vineyard in Napa Valley. The whole thing was going to cost $180,000. He said it casually like it was a normal number. Then he said the words that made my stomach drop. "We are family. You have that house. You can take out a home equity loan." I thought he was joking at first. "Kyle," I said, "that is my home. I cannot risk it." His voice changed instantly. Dad would have wanted us to help each other. I tried to explain that Dad had already given him $50,000. That was more than enough for a beautiful wedding. His response was ice cold. "That is not enough for what Jenna wants. You are being selfish, Brett." The call ended badly. I sat in my kitchen for an hour afterward, staring at my phone. I could not believe what I had just heard. This was the same brother who used to build forts with me in the backyard. The same brother who taught me how to throw a football. And now he was asking me to gamble my home for his wedding. A few days later, my mom called. She lived in Phoenix and we talked maybe once a month. "Kyle told me what is going on," she said. "I think you should consider helping him." I felt my chest tighten. I explained the whole situation to her. I told her how much I had given up for Dad. She sighed. "Family is more important than money, Brett." I felt completely alone. Then Jenna started texting me. She would send pictures of wedding venues with captions like, "This could be ours if you help." She called me one afternoon, her voice sweet and friendly. "Brett, I know we have not been super close, but this wedding means everything to us. It is our dream." I told her I could not help. She paused, then said, "I hope you can live with that decision." Kyle sent me a long email the next day. He listed every time he had helped me when we were kids. Remember when I lent you money for your car repair? Remember when I helped you move into your first apartment? The email ended with, I never asked you for anything. This is the one time I need you and you are turning your back on me. I read it 3 times, feeling guilt twist in my gut. But I knew I was right to say no. This was not about helping family. This was about funding someone's fantasy at my expense. Things got worse fast. Kyle and Jenna started posting on social media about family betrayal. They never used my name, but everyone knew. My phone started buzzing with calls from relatives. My Aunt Martha, Dad's older sister, called me on a Tuesday afternoon. Your father would be ashamed of you, she said. Those words hit harder than anything Kyle had said. I felt like I was losing my mind. I had done everything right. I had sacrificed for Dad. I had earned that house. But somehow I was the villain in this story. Kyle organized a family dinner and invited everyone except me. He posted photos on Instagram with the caption, "Family who supports each other." Jenna commented underneath, "Some people only care about themselves." I stared at that comment for 10 minutes, feeling my blood pressure rise. I tried calling Kyle directly. I wanted to sit down and talk this through like adults. He did not pick up. I left 3 voicemails. Nothing. A week later, he finally sent a text. Last chance. Wire us the money or we are done. I did not respond. 2 nights later, I came home from work around 7 in the evening. The moment I walked up to my front door, I knew something was wrong. The back door was hanging open slightly. My heart started pounding. I walked through the house slowly, checking every room. Nothing was missing. My laptop was still on the desk. The TV was still on the wall. But every drawer had been pulled open. Every closet had been searched. Couch cushions were thrown on the floor. Then I found the note. It was on my kitchen counter, written in block letters on a piece of notebook paper. You will regret being greedy. I called the police immediately. 2 officers came out, took photos, dusted for prints. They told me it looked like someone was searching for something specific, but there was no evidence of who had done it. I did not say anything about Kyle. I did not want to believe my own brother could do this. But I could not sleep that night. I kept thinking about that note, about the timing. 3 days later, I got an email from an address I did not recognize. The subject line was warning. When I opened it, there was a single image attached. It was a photoshopped picture of my house with a giant red sold sign in front of it. At the bottom, someone had added text. You could have helped family. My hands were shaking. I forwarded the email to the police, but they said there was not much they could do without more evidence. I was scared. I felt violated in my own home. I could not focus at work. I started having panic attacks. So I made a decision. I went to a security store and bought 4 cameras. I installed them myself, covering every entrance to the house. If someone came back, I would know exactly who it was. 1 week later, at 3:15 in the morning, my phone buzzed with a motion alert. I grabbed it and opened the app. My heart almost stopped. There on the screen were Kyle and Jenna standing at my back door. I watched in real time as Kyle tried to jimmy the lock with something metal. Jenna stood next to him, looking around nervously. I turned up the volume on my phone. If he will not give it, we will make him sell, Jenna said. Her voice was clear as day. Kyle grunted, still working on the lock. Or we can make the place unlivable. Insurance will pay. I could not breathe. I sat there in my bed watching my brother try to break into my house, watching him plan to destroy my home. I recorded everything on my phone screen just to make sure I had a backup. They worked on the door for about 10 minutes before giving up. I heard Kyle curse. Then they poured something on the lock. Some kind of liquid. They left after that. I did not sleep the rest of the night. When the sun came up, I went outside to check the back door. The lock was completely corroded. Whatever they had poured on it had eaten through the metal. I had to call a locksmith that morning. It cost me $200 to replace. I sat in my kitchen after the locksmith left, staring at the video on my laptop. My brother. My own blood. I had given up a year of my life for our father, and this was what I got in return. But more than sadness, I felt something else. Anger. Pure, cold anger. They wanted to play dirty, fine. I could play that game too. I called a lawyer that afternoon. His name was Mr. Harrison, a guy in his early 50s with a reputation for handling family disputes. I brought my laptop to his office and showed him everything. The emails, the threatening note, the video from the security camera. He watched the footage twice, his expression getting darker each time. This is harassment and attempted vandalism, he said. You have a strong case if you want to pursue legal action. I leaned back in my chair. I did not want to sue my brother. Not yet. I wanted one more chance to fix this, but I needed leverage. Mr. Harrison nodded. Let us document everything first. Build your case. Then you can decide how you want to proceed. I left his office and made another call. I hired a private investigator named Frank. He was recommended by a friend who had used him during a messy divorce. I gave Frank all the information I had about Kyle and Jenna, their address in San Francisco, their social media accounts, everything. I told him I needed to know what they were really planning. It took Frank 3 days to get back to me. What he found made everything clear. Kyle and Jenna had lied about the wedding costs. They had actually booked a venue that cost $60,000. Nice, but nowhere near $180,000. Frank showed me the receipts. He had managed to get a copy of their deposit information through some contact he had. So where was the rest of the money supposed to go? Frank had that answer too. Kyle and Jenna had been looking at condos in San Francisco, expensive ones. They needed a down payment, a big one, around $120,000. They wanted to use my inheritance to buy their dream home. The wedding was just the excuse. The whole story had been a lie from the beginning. I felt sick. But I also felt something else. Clarity. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I set up a fake email account and sent Kyle a message. I am thinking about your offer. Can we talk? He responded within an hour. About time. We need the money by next week. I wrote back. Can we meet to discuss? I need to understand the full plan. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop in downtown Portland on Saturday morning. I got there early and set up my phone to record audio. Oregon is a one-party consent state, which meant I could legally record our conversation without telling them. Kyle and Jenna walked in together at exactly 10. They sat down across from me and Jenna smiled. I am so glad you are finally being reasonable about this. I played along. I asked them to walk me through the wedding plans, the venue, the guest list, the costs. Jenna did most of the talking and she was good. She made it all sound so beautiful, so important. Then I shifted gears. So, if I help you, what exactly happens next? Kyle leaned forward. We get the money. We have our wedding. And then we can all move on with our lives. I nodded slowly. But what if I had said no? What would you have done then? The atmosphere changed. Kyle's expression hardened. We already tried a few things to persuade you, he said. Jenna shot him a look, but the damage was done. What things? I asked, keeping my voice calm. Kyle smirked. You know what? The house visit. My hands were gripping the edge of the table so hard my knuckles were white. But I kept my voice steady. Why do you really need this much money? It is just a wedding. Jenna opened her mouth before Kyle could stop her. The down payment on our condo is due in 3 weeks. We cannot lose it. Kyle's face went red. Jenna shut up. But it was too late. I had everything I needed. I stood up. Thanks for being honest. Kyle looked confused. What are you doing? I picked up my phone. Getting the truth. I will be in touch. I walked out of that coffee shop feeling 10 feet tall. For the first time in weeks, I had control. Back home, I met with Mr. Harrison again. I played him the recording. His smile was grim. This is exactly what we needed. Now here is what I suggest. We sat for 2 hours planning every detail. I was not just going to confront Kyle. I was going to make sure everyone knew the truth. I sent out invitations to a family gathering at my house. I told everyone I wanted to discuss Dad's legacy and clear the air. Kyle and Jenna were invited too. Most people said they would come. They were probably expecting me to apologize, to give in. But that was not what I had planned. Not even close. The day of the gathering, I set everything up carefully. I hooked my laptop to the TV in the living room. I had all the files ready. People started arriving around 2 in the afternoon. My mom, Aunt Martha, a few cousins, some family friends. Kyle and Jenna showed up last looking smug. Jenna even hugged me. I am so glad you are doing this, she whispered. When everyone was settled, I stood in front of the TV. Thank you all for coming. I know there has been a lot of tension lately, a lot of talk about what is fair and what is not. I just want everyone to see the full picture. I clicked play on the laptop. The security camera footage filled the screen. Everyone watched in silence as Kyle tried to break into my back door, as Jenna talked about making the house unlivable. The room was so quiet I could hear people breathing. Aunt Martha's hand went to her mouth. My mom started crying. Kyle stood up, his face bright red. This is not what it looks like. I paused the video. Then I played the audio from the coffee shop. Every word was crystal clear. Jenna's confession about the condo, Kyle's admission about the house visit. When it finished, I put up the documents Frank had found. The real wedding costs, the condo listings they had been looking at. The timeline of their lies. I let it all sink in for a moment. Then I spoke. Dad left me that house because I earned it. I gave up a year of my life to take care of him. Kyle got $50,000, which he has already used for other things. They did not need $180,000 for a wedding. They needed it for a down payment on a condo in San Francisco. And when I said no, they tried to terrorize me into giving them what they wanted. Kyle tried to speak. You are twisting everything. We were just frustrated. I cut him off. You broke into my house. You vandalized my property. You lied to our entire family. I looked around the room, and a lot of you believed them. You called me selfish. You said Dad would be ashamed of me. But I was the one who was there. Every single day. I earned what Dad gave me. I did not owe anyone anything. I turned back to Kyle. Here is what is going to happen. You and Jenna are going to post a public apology on social media. You are going to admit you lied. You are going to pay me back for the locksmith, the security cameras, and all the other expenses your little stunt cost me. That is $3,500. And you are going to sign a legal document promising to never contact me or come near my property again. If you do not agree, I will file a civil lawsuit and press criminal charges for attempted vandalism. The room was dead silent. Kyle looked at Jenna. She looked at the floor. Finally, Kyle spoke, his voice barely a whisper. This is insane. I shook my head. No, what you did was insane. This is me protecting myself. You have 48 hours to decide. If I do not hear from you, my lawyer will be in touch. They left without another word. Most of the family stayed. Aunt Martha came up to me, tears streaming down her face. I should have trusted you. I am so sorry. My mom hugged me for the first time in years. I am proud of you, she said, standing up for yourself like that. It is what your dad would have wanted. 2 days later, Mr. Harrison called me. Kyle's lawyer just reached out. They are ready to agree to your terms. A week after that, Kyle and Jenna posted their apology. It was clearly written by their lawyer, very formal and careful, but it was public. They transferred the $3,500 to my account. They signed the no-contact agreement. It was over. I had won. But the fallout for them was just beginning. I heard through family members that the stress of everything caused major problems between Kyle and Jenna. She blamed him for the whole mess. He blamed her for pushing too hard. 3 months later, they called off the engagement. Kyle lost his job around the same time. Something about poor performance reviews. I did not feel happy about any of that, but I did not feel guilty either. They had made their choices. It took me a few months to really process everything that had happened. I started seeing a therapist. She helped me work through the betrayal, the anger, the complicated feelings about my brother. I threw myself into my work and got promoted to senior accountant. The extra money felt good. It felt earned. I spent time renovating the house, making it truly mine. I tore out the old carpet in the living room and put in hardwood floors. I updated the kitchen with new cabinets. I turned Dad's old bedroom into a home office. Every change helped me move forward. This was not just Dad's house anymore. It was mine. I also started volunteering at a local hospice center. Once a week, I would sit with patients who did not have family nearby. I would read to them, talk with them, just be there. It was my way of honoring Dad's memory, of making sure other people did not have to go through what he went through alone. I met incredible people there. People with stories and wisdom and so much life left in them even at the end. It gave me perspective. It gave me peace. I made new friends in the neighborhood. There was an older couple next door, the Hendersons, who invited me over for dinner one night. We ended up talking for hours. They became like surrogate grandparents. Down the street there was a young family with 2 kids who needed a babysitter sometimes. I started helping out. Being part of a community again reminded me that family is not always about blood. Sometimes it is about the people who show up for you. 6 months after the confrontation, I ran into Kyle at a funeral for a distant cousin. We had not spoken since the settlement. He looked terrible. His face was gaunt and he had lost weight. We made awkward eye contact across the room. After the service, he approached me. Can we talk? We walked outside to the parking lot. Kyle looked at the ground. I know the apology was not enough. I know I messed up. I just wanted you to know that I am sorry. Really sorry. Jenna and I are done. I lost my job. I am living with a friend right now trying to figure things out. I felt a wave of sadness, not for what he had lost, but for what we had lost. The brotherhood, the trust. I hope you figure it out, I said. I really do. But we cannot go back, Kyle. He nodded. I know. He walked away, and I watched him get into an old car I did not recognize. Part of me wanted to reach out to offer help. but I knew I could not. Some bridges once burned cannot be rebuilt. That night, I sat on the porch of my house, the house Dad had left me, the house I had fought so hard to keep. I thought about everything that had happened, about the phone call at 2 in the morning that started it all, about the fear and the anger and the moment I decided to fight back. I thought about what I had learned. Family is supposed to be the people who stand by you no matter what. But real family does not demand your sacrifice as proof of love. Real family does not threaten you or manipulate you or try to take what is yours. I had spent so much of my life trying to be the good son, the good brother. I had thought that meant always saying yes, always giving. But Dad taught me something in that last year of his life. He taught me that love is not about obligation. It is about choice. Setting boundaries does not make you selfish. It makes you strong. Protecting what you worked for does not make you greedy. It makes you wise. I do not hate Kyle. I probably never will. But I also know that our relationship will never be what it once was, and that is okay. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is let go. I think about Dad a lot. I wonder what he would say if he could see how everything turned out. I think he would be proud. He gave me that house not just as a gift but as a foundation, a place to build my life from. And I did. I built a life that is mine, a life where I do not have to apologize for standing up for myself. The thing is, in life you have to choose between being kind and being a doormat. I chose kindness, but I also chose self-respect. Dad taught me to be generous, but he also taught me not to be a fool. There is a difference between helping someone who needs it and being exploited by someone who wants it. I learned that lesson the hard way. So, what is the lesson here? If someone truly loves you, they will not ask you to destroy yourself to make them happy. They will not weaponize your guilt or turn your family against you. They will respect your boundaries. They will honor your sacrifices. And if they cannot do that, then maybe they do not deserve a place in your life. Even if they share your blood. I still drive past Kyle's old apartment sometimes, when I am in that part of town. I wonder if he ever thinks about what he lost. Not the money, not the house, but the brother who would have done anything for him if he had just asked the right way. The brother who spent a year taking care of their dying father because it was the right thing to do. The brother who learned through pain and betrayal that sometimes protecting yourself is the greatest act of love you can give. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family members who crossed the line? Have you ever been in a situation where doing the right thing made you the villain in someone else's story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, because I share stories like this every week. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Someone who is struggling to stand up for themselves. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to my story. I hope it reminded you that you do not have to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Take care of yourselves out there. Protect your peace. And remember that the people who truly love you will never ask you to prove it by destroying yourself. Until next time.